There's a milestone event the government is celebrating right now in honor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi turning 75. While it's natural for his own partymen to celebrate, what was curious was that even the opposition wished him and didn't try to suggest that it was time for the Prime Minister to hang up his boots. So in this week's episode, here's what I try and explore. In this age of Gen Z, why are elders thriving in India and the world? Why is age no bar in politics, no disadvantage in this game? The big takeaway for me is that often we make the mistake of conflating fresh ideas and energy in politics with youth. Just like advertisers are always looking for what appeals to the young, politicians too are always looking to woo the 18-year-olds, the first-time voters. And that's why from time to time, political parties make the promise of giving more tickets to younger candidates, the pride they feel in appointing a very young minister or chief minister. But look around you. How many such young people really inspire you with their ideas? In politics, very few. That's why when Nepal's Gen Z protesters shook the world and brought down the entire establishment, they chose a 73-year-old woman to steer the country after getting rid of the entire Oli cabinet. This surprised many, but in tumultuous times, the wise young people wanted someone who had a proven track record of being clean and corruption-free, and Sushila Karki had just that. They wanted change, they wanted new thinking, and yes, those qualities for them personified in Karki. They could have gone with the rapper Mayor Balendra Shah, also a politician and so much closer to them in age, but they chose someone decades older as if to say that this business of democracy is too serious a call to leave in the hands of the young. As long as Karki was responsive to the needs and aspirations of the youth, it was okay. This for me really puts things in perspective, that youth as a quality is overhyped in this sector. Don't get me wrong, when Narendra Modi burst into the scene in 2014, his team pitched youthful qualities about him even though he was 63. First, he was Gen Next of BJP, having replaced Advani, who is 22 years older than him. He pitched himself as a challenger, an outsider, dueling images which made him poised to fight his rivals, and most importantly, he came as a pitch for New India, one that promised a backward leader. This made him appealing to a large number of people and he won. Modi got older in subsequent elections but has continued to win, presumably because he's able to convince the voters that he's still fighting for them. Don't forget that some of the qualities that are projected about him are all about youthful energy. For instance, how he keeps traveling and is seen doing a political rally after a night of transatlantic flying. This age principle is also true for his main challenger, Rahul Gandhi. Think back to 2004 when he fought his first election from Amethi at the age of just 33. He may have had the Gandhi legacy and youth to his advantage, but nobody, absolutely nobody thought he was going to shake things up immediately. Even 5 years later, in 2009, Manmohan Singh was older than what Modi is today at 77. But even then, no one really had the confidence to suggest that Gandhi would replace Manmohan Singh. They only went so far to speculate that maybe Rahul Gandhi could join the Council of Ministers and take on more responsibility. It took 2 more decades and just notching up life experiences, a whole series of losses for Gandhi to become leader of the opposition and take on the challenger to Modi position at the age of 55. So, in some ways, his career could just be getting started. Remember, it's only in the last couple of years that the entire opposition has gained confidence to rally in Rahul Gandhi's support. So, in that sense, he's only getting started at this age. And it's not a new phenomenon either. According to a data piece that was done by my colleagues Nishant Ranjan and Roshan Kishore, Modi, when he took office at 63, was nowhere close to being the oldest one. He was only the 7th oldest PM being sworn in. The oldest was in fact Morarji Desai at 81, sworn in after the Janata Party coalition came in after the end of emergency. And I.K. Gujral, Charan Singh, Manmohan Singh, Vajpayee and Narasimha Rao are all leaders much older than Modi when they were sworn. In fact, all older than 70 were trusted with this high office. The political analyst Ashok Malik, in his article in HT, argues that when the Cold War ended in 1991, there was a new economic boom, a new era which led to what he calls an ageist cult. Its impact was mostly felt in the US and UK, where it led to Bill Clinton retiring at 54, George Bush at 62, and Barack Obama at 55. In the UK too, Tony Blair at 54, David Cameron at 49, and Rishi Sunak at 44 represent a series of youthful leaders. But the new UK Labour government, which came in last year, has Keir Starmer, who is exactly the age that Modi was in 2014. The thing is that young people, when they come into the scene, take Zoran Mamdani, the Democratic candidate to run for New York mayor, they are exciting. They grab eyeballs because they can have unconventional perspectives and they have energy, like how he does everything on Instagram. But it doesn't mean that voters reject them or vote for them because they are young and the other person is old. Voters didn't vote out Andrew Cuomo, his rival, because he was older. It was more likely that he just wasn't reflecting the problems that citizens were facing and they wanted to try something new. The thing is that while young leaders are more photogenic and exciting, they lose out on experience and sometimes just can't handle the pressures of top jobs. Take the case of the world's youngest PM at 34, Finland's Sanna Marin, who stepped down in 2023. She had faced intense scrutiny for her personal life and images of her party. Then we also have the case of the New Zealand Prime Minister at 37, Jacinda Ardern, who also stepped down citing too much pressure in public life. Yes, they both lost elections politically, but the only difference is that with age, you learn how to handle all this and you go on. You don't call it quits. That's why Indira Gandhi faced the worst defeat and humiliation in the 1977 election, but she just waited and then came back to fight and win in 1980. The only thing that we're all watching is whether Narendra Modi, who will complete this term in 2029 at the age of 78, will prefer to carry on or pass on the mantle.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.